Failure. The word alone stings, doesn't it? It's that sinking feeling when your plans collapse, when people doubt you, when the dream you held so close seems to be slipping away. But here's the truth almost nobody tells you. Failure is the tuition fee of success. Every empire, every billionaire brand, every world-changing idea has been forged in the fire of failure. Think about your own life for a second. How many times have you tried something? A business, a project, a bold idea, only to be met with rejection, embarrassment, or even outright loss. Most of us take failure as a stop sign. But the stories I'm about to share will prove that failure is not the end of the road. It's the beginning of greatness. Because tonight, we're diving deep into 10 epic business failures that transformed into billion-dollar successes. And let me warn you, these aren't the polished, glamorous versions you see in documentaries. These are raw, real stories of humiliation, doubt, bankruptcy, rockets exploding, ideas being laughed at, thousands of rejections, and nights filled with tears and hopelessness that turned into global legacies. And here's why you should stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll not only know these stories, you'll start looking at your own failures differently. That idea you almost gave up on. You'll realize it could be your billion-dollar story waiting for its breakthrough moment. But let me pause and ask you, have you subscribed to this channel yet? If yes, thank you. You're part of a growing community of dreamers and fighters who believe in turning setbacks into setups. But if you haven't, here's my question. Why not? If you care about building wealth, wisdom, and resilience, then hit that button right now. Don't just watch from the sidelines. Join us. Because in this space, we turn pain into power and losses into legacies. Now, buckle up. Our first story begins with a man who was kicked out of his own company, humiliated in front of the world, and yet returned to build one of the greatest tech empires of all time. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Steve Jobs, from fired founder to Apple's billion-dollar revival. In 1985, Steve Jobs, the man who co-founded Apple in a small garage, was fired from his own company. Imagine that for a moment. You build something from scratch, pour in your soul, and then the board of directors decides you're no longer good enough. That's not just failure, that's betrayal. But Jobs didn't wallow in pity. He started a new company, Next. It failed to capture the market, but here's the twist. Apple later bought Next, bringing Jobs back into the company. And from that so-called failure came the foundation for Apple's greatest innovations. The iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. Think about it. Being fired was the best thing that ever happened to Jobs. Without that failure, Apple might not be the trillion-dollar brand it is today. Now let me ask you, what's one failure in your life that could secretly be preparing you for your comeback? Drop your answer in the comments, because your story matters. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, pause and do it now. Because the people who stick around here, they're the ones who are building their comeback. Chapter 2. Elon Musk, Exploding Rockets and the Last Chance. Elon Musk is worth hundreds of billions today, but in 2008 he was on the edge of bankruptcy. SpaceX had launched 3 rockets, and all 3 exploded. Millions of dollars gone, the press mocking him, and his reputation crumbling. He had one rocket left. One final chance. If it failed, SpaceX was dead, Tesla was struggling, and Musk himself would have been ruined. But against all odds, the 4th rocket worked. That single success secured NASA contracts, saved the company, and changed history. Today, SpaceX is landing rockets, reducing space costs, and preparing humans for Mars. Lesson. Failure is not the opposite of progress, it's the fuel. Each rocket that exploded taught them something vital. Without those failures, there would have been no success. Now let's pause. How many of you watching right now would have quit after the 3rd explosion? Be honest. Share it in the comments, because your answer might inspire someone else who's ready to give up. And again, are you subscribed? If yes, thank you. If not, what are you waiting for? Don't let your potential fly past you like a rocket. Join us. Chapter 3, Airbnb, 1000 Rejections and Breakfast Cereal. Two broke guys in San Francisco had a crazy idea, renting out air mattresses in their apartment to strangers. They called it Air Bed and Breakfast. Investors laughed. Over 1,000 people rejected their pitch. Imagine hearing no 1,000 times. To survive, they sold novelty cereal boxes, Obama O's and Captain McCain's. That's how broke they were. But they kept pushing, kept refining, kept believing. Today, Airbnb is valued at over $70 billion. From air mattresses to disrupting the hotel industry. Here's the truth, sometimes your idea won't make sense to anyone until it works. What's an idea you've been scared to share because you think people will laugh? Drop it below. I guarantee you're not alone. And quick check, are you subscribed? If yes, thank you. If not, do it now, because the next story might just change the way you see yourself forever. Chapter 4, Walt Disney, Bankrupt and Lacking Creativity. Before Mickey Mouse, before Disneyland, Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job because, and I quote, he lacked creativity. Can you imagine telling Walt Disney he wasn't creative enough? But it gets worse. His first animation studio went bankrupt. Investors laughed at the idea of theme parks, calling them ridiculous. Yet, Disney pressed on. Today, Disney is a multi-billion-dollar empire. And the same man who was once told he lacked imagination became the king of imagination. What if your weakness is actually your greatest strength in disguise? Think about it. And while you're at it, make sure you're subscribed, because stories like this, they're reminders that your setback is temporary. Chapter 5, Starbucks, Coffee Nobody Wanted. In the early days, Starbucks struggled. People thought paying high prices for coffee was insane. Investors doubted. Customers ignored. At one point, the company almost sold out. But Howard Schultz had a bigger vision. He wasn't just selling coffee, he was selling the experience. A third place between work and home. That shift changed everything. Today, Starbucks is worth over $100 billion. Sometimes the product isn't the problem, it's the story. What's the bigger story behind what you're building? Think about that. And yes, I'll keep asking, have you subscribed yet? If you have, thank you. If not, trust me, you'll want to stick around. Chapter 6, Dyson, 5,127 Failures Before Success. Me. Most of us quit after 1, 2, maybe 3 failures. James Dyson? He failed 5,127 times before finally building the world's first bagless vacuum cleaner. Let's pause on that number, 5,127 attempts. Imagine your friends seeing you fail prototype number 327. They'd laugh, right? Imagine your family asking, are you still working on that silly machine? By prototype number 1,000. Most people would have given up. But Dyson saw each failure as a step closer to success. He didn't waste them, he studied them. Every broken piece, every failed suction, every wasted part became a data point. He didn't say, I failed 5,127 times. He said, I found 5,127 ways that didn't work. That's the mindset shift. Failure as education, not humiliation. And it paid off. Today, Dyson's company is worth billions, selling not just vacuums, but fans, dryers, and cutting-edge technology worldwide. Now think about this. How many of your dreams have you abandoned after 5 tries? After 10 tries? What would your life look like if you pushed through failure number 50? Or even number 500? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear your perspective. And while you're thinking, let me ask, have you subscribed yet? If you have, thank you. You're proving you're in this for the long game, just like Dyson. If you haven't, stop holding back. Hit that button now. Your future deserves that kind of persistence. Chapter 7. Oprah Winfrey, fired for being unfit for TV. Today, Oprah Winfrey is a household name. She's a billionaire, an icon, and one of the most influential women in history. But rewind back to the 1970s, and Oprah was just a young reporter who got fired from her first television job. Why? Because her boss said she was too emotional and not fit for TV. Imagine that. The very thing that made Oprah special, her ability to connect emotionally, was seen as her biggest flaw. They tried to push her into being robotic, detached, and traditional. She didn't fit their mold, so they threw her out. But here's the beauty of her story. Oprah didn't try to change who she was to fit in. She leaned into it. She built her career around empathy, vulnerability, and authentic connection. Instead of hiding her emotions, she used them as her superpower. That's how the Oprah Winfrey Show became one of the most successful talk shows in history. Today, Oprah is worth billions, not because she fit in, but because she refused to. So here's my question for you. What part of yourself have you been told to hide? What strength of yours has been mislabeled as weakness? Maybe your sensitivity is your edge. Maybe your persistence is your weapon. Maybe your different way of thinking is exactly what the world needs. Think about it. And while you do, subscribe if you haven't already. Because here, we celebrate the misfits, the fighters, the people who turn their weaknesses into world-changing powers. Chapter 8. Colonel Sanders, 1009 Rejections Before KFC. At age 65, most people are thinking about retirement. Colonel Harlan Sanders? He was sleeping in his car, broke, carrying around a fried chicken recipe he believed the world needed to taste. He went door to door, pitching his recipe to restaurant owners. He was rejected not once, not 10 times, not even 100 times, but 1009 times. Think about that. 1009 people said no. Let's get real. How many of us could handle even 50 rejections? Yet Sanders kept going. And finally, on the 1010th attempt, someone said yes. That one yes sparked what we now know as KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Today, it's a global brand with over 25,000 locations. The lesson here? Rejection isn't a stop sign, it's a test. It asks, how badly do you want this? So let me ask you, what dream have you stopped pursuing after just a handful of no's? Was it really impossible, or did you give up too soon? Comment below. I'd love to hear your perspective. And of course, I'll ask again, are you subscribed yet? To those who are, thank you. You're the reason this channel grows. To those who aren't, why wait until your 1010th yes moment? Subscribe now and be part of a community that refuses to quit. Chapter 9. Netflix, laughed out of Blockbuster. In the late 1990s, Netflix was a tiny DVD rental company. They had this bold idea: deliver movies by mail, and later, stream them online. They even approached Blockbuster, the giant of the video rental industry, and offered to sell Netflix for $50 million. Blockbuster's executives literally laughed them out of the room. To them, Netflix was a joke. But fast forward 2 decades, Netflix is worth over $150 billion, streaming to more than 200 million subscribers worldwide. And Blockbuster? Gone. A fossil of the past. Here's the irony. Sometimes the world's laughter is the greatest sign you're onto something groundbreaking. Being misunderstood is the tax innovators pay. So the next time people laugh at your dream, remember, maybe it's because you're seeing a future they can't yet imagine. And hey, quick check, are you subscribed? If yes, thank you. You're the kind of person who sees potential before others do. If not, don't be like Blockbuster, stuck in the past. Hit that button now and join the future. Chapter 10: Jack Ma and Alibaba. From rejection to e-commerce giant. Jack Ma's story is rejection on repeat. He failed his university entrance exam twice. He applied for dozens of jobs and was rejected by all of them, including KFC. When KFC opened in his city, they hired 23 out of 24 applicants. Guess who was the one left out? Jack Ma. He even applied to Harvard 10 times. Rejected every single time. Most people would have collapsed under that weight of rejection. But not Jack Ma. Instead, he built Alibaba, a company that started in his small apartment with 18 friends. Today, it's one of the world's largest e-commerce platforms, worth hundreds of billions, connecting buyers and sellers globally. Jack Ma once said, "If you don't give up, you still have a chance. Giving up is the greatest failure." So here's my challenge to you. What chance are you throwing away by quitting too early? Maybe the job, the business, the dream that rejected you wasn't meant to be the end. Maybe it was just training for something greater. And before we move to the powerful closing of this video, let me remind you one last time. Subscribe. If you already have, thank you. You're proving that you're committed to growth. And if you haven't yet, don't leave this video without joining. Because your journey deserves daily fuel. Final chapter. The truth about failure. So what do all these stories have in common? It's simple. Failure wasn't the end, it was the beginning. Jobs, Musk, Oprah, Disney, Dyson, Jack Ma, they all had every reason to quit. But they didn't. They chose persistence over pity. And that choice made the difference. Now I'm talking to you. Yes, you watching this. What dream have you buried because of failure? What business idea have you shelved because people laughed? What vision have you let go of because rejection felt too heavy? Here's the truth. Your failure is not final. It's feedback. It's fuel. It's the training ground for your billion-dollar moment. But you've got to keep going. You've got to try one more time. And maybe, just maybe, your story will be the one people tell years from now as proof that resilience beats rejection every time. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, stop. Do it right now. Not for me. For you. For the community you're joining. For the inspiration you'll never miss. And to those who already subscribed, thank you. You're not just viewers, you're visionaries. So let's make a promise together. The next time failure knocks, you'll smile and say, "I was expecting you. Now teach me, so I can rise stronger." Because one day, the world won't remember the failures you had. They'll remember the one victory you refused to give up on. Thank you for staying until the end. That tells me you're not here for entertainment. You're here for transformation. So remember my motto: dream boldly, act fearlessly, and let your vision outlive you. If today's video lit a fire in you, smash that like button, share this video, and drop a comment telling me which story hit you hardest. And of course, subscribe, because we're just getting started. More powerful stories, more life-changing lessons, more reasons to keep pushing forward are coming your way. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep fighting, and keep going.